Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to finals day of the Lexus Junior National Championships 18 and under event. For our boys singles final, firstly please welcome our ball crew. And to our players, firstly please welcome Mark Seaban. And also a big welcome for Joshua Craze. To the left of the umpire is Mark Seaban. Mark is our #1 seed here this week at the National Tennis Centre. He's age 17, started playing at the age of 5 and actually uses the NTC as his training base. His coaches are Andre Seaban and Alistair Filmer. He attends Wilson Grammar School in Wallington where he's studying his A-levels. Favourite player is Alex Zverev. Career highlights so far include winning the 14 under invitational event at Wimbledon in 2023. He was also #1 in Europe in 2023 in his age group. 2024 he reached the 3rd round of Wimbledon. 2025 won the J200 in Vigo in Spain. And interests outside of tennis include chess and reading. Please welcome Mark Seaban. To the right of the umpire's chair is Joshua Craze. Josh is our #4 seed here this week at the National Championships. He's age 18. Started playing the game through his mum and grandparents going down to the local club. He's originally from Devon but now lives in Glastonbury in Somerset. He's based at Millfield School, won the national doubles title 14 under with Charlie Ruffle in 2022. Josh is appearing in his first national singles final. His coaches are Mark Boubenet and Lauren English. His interests outside of tennis include supporting Chelsea and music. He's a big fan of Dave, but tells me he's not actually, despite the fact he lives in Glastonbury, hasn't actually gone to the festival yet. Please welcome Joshua Craze.
Well, it is finals day at the 18 and under event of the Junior National Championships, sponsored by Lexus here at the National Tennis Center. And it's a familiar venue for Mark Seban, top seeds, former 16s champion, but targeting his first 18s trophy as he takes on number 4 seed Joshua Craze. Strong weeks for both players, but there can only be one winner in this match, to be followed by the girls' singles final. You have company today. Abigail Johnson here, alongside someone with a little more technical tennis knowledge. Matthew James sits with me in the commentary box. Matt, great to have you here. And how are you feeling about being here for the championship match here at Junior Nationals?
Yeah, thanks for having me. No, really looking forward to today. We're going to have 2 excellent matches, I imagine, with a lot on the line. So, yeah, looking forward to this.
Yeah, that's a great point that you raise, because the stakes do rise on this trophy day. Not only are these 2 guys playing for a spot on the 18s honor roll, which features some big British tennis names, but, and they both know this, there is a Wimbledon qualifying wildcard on the line for today's winner. Definitely going to be some tension. How hard is it to ignore something like that in the moment of the match?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting how it plays out. Mark, he's got a little bit of experience on playing a few of the men's tournaments, a few of these ITF events in the UK over the last couple of years, whereas Josh yet to play on the men's side, so he's actually going straight into a Wimbledon qualifying match alongside a couple of other wildcards as well. So, yeah, certainly a lot on the line.
Yeah, he seemed almost surprised by his own run, the 18-year-old from Somerset. He's never cracked the top 600 in the juniors, largely because he's been at Millfield School the past 4 years playing tennis alongside his studies, but hasn't dropped a set in making it to this title match at 18s Nationals. So it does take some confidence from that, but can't quite compared to the resume of Seban, who's been around these tournaments for a handful of years now. This is his 3rd appearance at the 18s event, quarterfinals on debut in 2024, and then semi-finals last season, lived up to his ranking there, falling only to the eventual champion, Oliver Bonding. And we will be crowning a new winner today, because Ollie Bonding, 2-time defending champion, has taken himself out to the States, and he's at Texas Christian University, following in the footsteps of Cam Norrie and Jacob Fernley and all those who have gone before. So it will be a first-time appearance on the honor roll for one of these 2 players, but it's not a first-time meeting. Seban actually got the better of Craze on his way to the 16 and unders Nationals title in 2024. That was a 6-1, 6-4 quarter-final result, but a couple of years since, and all to play for today. Darren Michaels in the chair for this match, and I believe we heard him say that Josh Craze had actually opted to receive to start this match, maybe hoping for this slow start from Saban. What are the biggest challenges that Saban presents to Craze in this matchup, Matt?
Yeah, I think experience is going to be a huge part here. Mark will have been in these situations, as you mentioned, you know, previous experiences in big matches here at Roehampton, and also his resume, playing a lot of tournaments in the juniors, playing a few slams, so he's played a lot of bigger matches, so we'll see if that plays out here.
That's a great response to a tricky opening situation from Saban. How important are the early stages for Craze?
It's going to be really important for him to get a little bit of a foothold here. It was interesting, he warmed up pretty much up until the match started, so yeah, perhaps he's hoping to get off to a fast start and feel good straight away, and a lot of players tend to have a little bit of break in between their hit before and then go into the more physical stuff.
Yeah, good measured approach. Likes his backhand, Saban. Also is a big fan of Alexander Zverev. I don't know if the backhand is Zverev inspired, if the hair is Zverev inspired.
Yeah, he'll be pretty happy if he has a backhand similar to Zverev. He's going to have a pretty good career if that's the case.
And that's a pretty good start to this match from the double breakpoint deficit. Mark Saban first on the board. He himself still studying at age 17, working on his A-levels at Wilson's Grammar School in Sutton. Older brother Alex also took an academic route. He's been on the first team at Nottingham University. It's Saban who's made his mark here at Nationals. Worth noting that he was the top seeds when he came through and won the 16th event here a couple of years ago. So he's had that experience of carrying the target. He's going to have to do so again.
So a pretty big game here for Josh straight away. He's going to want to get onto that scoreboard pretty quickly, even though he was pretty close in the last game. If he ends up 2-love down here, it's going to just add to a little bit of pressure.
We see the importance of a big serve for Craze. He actually noted prior to this match that his favorite shot is his volley. So much easier to get up the court with precision on that first delivery.
As you said, a couple of good examples straight away with him looking to come forward there and putting some pressure on back onto Mark.
Yeah, impressive start from the player from Somerset. He's definitely aware of the situation here. He said yesterday that he's played Saban several times. He's never won, but maybe can just embrace the underdog tag today in a match that's such a high stakes occasion. And maybe you're not, Matt, thinking so much about the Wimbledon wildcard when you're trying to overcome a player that you've never got the better of previously.
Yeah, but I think in big finals, you know, previous history can also go out the window. You know, and the wild cards, they can work both ways here. You know, Josh, will he be thinking about the potential of a men's qualifying wild card, or will he actually be pretty happy that he's already guaranteed a main draw into the juniors, which would have been a huge goal probably at the start of the year?
Good response. It's been aggressive returning from Craze in these early stages.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a tactic to try and come out really aggressive and try and put the pressure straight onto Mark and use his strength trying to come forward. Obviously, yeah, these courts being outdoors is going to be a little bit slower than some other venues, but he can still try and put the pressure on.
Well, Mark Saban overcoming a couple of deficits on serve to get this one underway, but keeping us on serve at the very beginning of this first singles final of the 2026 18 and unders Lexus Junior National Championships. It is 2-1 to the top seed at the first sit down. You can see the proactivity on Josh Craze's +1, his first shot behind the serve and behind the return, just looking for his route up the court. But even if that move to the net isn't ultimately required, the process is there. So we'll welcome the net cord, gave him the opportunity.
Yeah, you can really see Josh kind of lean through his shots, hold the base down a little bit, and you can see him looking any opportunity, can I actually get forward? And it's going to be important here for Mark not to drop his tempo or level at any point, because he will be facing a big approach at key times.
Yeah, sharp in the early stages from Josh Craze. 2 pretty comprehensive holds. And a reminder that he hasn't dropped a set in making this stage. The asterisk there is that he's yet to face a seed. 6-4, 6-4 over Mirrington in the opening round, then 7-5, 6-1 over Eric Lorimer before 6-1, 6-3 over Channon. Liam Channon was a wild card. He's been injured a bit recently and did go on to lift the doubles trophy yesterday alongside William Moxon, Holly Smart and Megan Knight coming through on the women's side for the doubles triumph. Oh, what a snatch from Craze.
Yeah, Mark won't be too happy there. A couple of opportunities to put that away and have a slightly more straightforward game here, but another chance for Josh in these early stages, and will he take this one?
Yeah, that just hints that he's aware of the pressure that's been applied Saban in his early service games. Craze staying pretty tight to the court, making his presence known in presence as well as the scoreboard. The early holds are concerning, but it's clutch tennis that Saban's bringing to the table under that breakpoint pressure.
Yeah, he put himself under a little bit of pressure there, having missed a couple of first serves. Yeah, Josh actually hit a good return, but Mark, to be fair, stayed aggressive, came forward, got his reward.
Yeah, they're the qualities that you look for in a player when it comes to climbing the rankings and progressing up the tennis ladder. Can you respond to scrutinizing moments? And there's another that he's navigated.
Yeah, interesting. He slowed his first serve down there a little bit. Wanted to make that serve not be under as much pressure.
well absorbed. He's really backed himself, Craze, in these early stages. He seems very sure of himself in terms of what he wants to do. But even if you've not won previously in the matchup, there's still the familiarity of the opponent, the knowledge of what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, apart from getting that elusive break, this start couldn't have gone much better, I don't think, for Josh.
The man on a mission, one win away from the 18th Nationals on a roll, and again, 1 point away from the breakthrough. It just had the length to trouble.
Just a little hesitation. He thought about coming in on that forehand and ended up actually getting a little bit stuck in the middle of the court.
Oof, seared the sideline. Longest rally of the match, well handled. Is that the tipping point? Three service games. He's been on the back foot in all three, Mark Saban. That's the one. Josh Craze with the first strike in this first final of the day. A huge credit to his resilience when it didn't come at the first time of asking in the very first game of this set. Tremendous effort from the 18-year-old to lead 3-2. Well watched by Saban. So far it's been pretty impeccably sustained intensity from Craze. But if he doesn't get up the court in the first couple of shots, he's just got to be careful with how he approaches. We know how capable Saban is at the back of the court.
It'll be interesting here now. Mark's behind on the scoreboard. Does he actually go a little bit more aggressive and try and take it to Josh a little bit?
Yeah, let's do count in the junior game. Play through. I do wonder about rallying into the Saban backhand when those rallies extend at the back of the court. Just a bit less likely to break down maybe the top seed. Yeah, it's a strong two-hander and it set him up for the goods there.
But like you said, I think rallying to Mark's backhand and trying to win that way is probably not the best way here for Josh over 3 sets. I think that was the right thing. Backhand down the line and looking to put pressure on and come forward.
Yeah, that's brave. First time he's been faced with the break point, Craze. He's got to hold this game to make his own break of serve count in this opening set. It's good to hear him as well, showing his presence and using his demeanor in this encounter.
Quite refreshing to see both players looking to come forward at almost every opportunity, especially on an outdoor, quite a slow court.
You've worked with younger players, Matt. Do you think that's changing in the junior game with the rise of Carlos Alcaraz? He was so complete when he was coming through as a teenager, able to play from all areas of the court.
Yeah, I think that word complete, I think you need that variation in the game and being ready for all surfaces.
good intention from Craze, but maybe not quite on balance with the process at times in that game. So it is the strike back for the top seed. Good presence from the junior world number 30 to take advantage. And we do have to keep coming back to that for context, because they've taken very different paths to this stage, these two players. There's no right path, everyone's an individual. But if this match stays tight, if we go down the wire in this set, it is something to look for. Does it become a little bit more real for Craze? What's on the line and the potential of this opportunity? He'll be disappointed because he's holding his position really well, Craze, and there's a lot of the right intent from his side of the net.
Yeah, he's clearly come out with a game plan of putting pressure on and looking to come forward at every opportunity. And he understands that it won't work every time, but he's going to keep putting pressure on and see if that tells.
What's the key to having that acceptance in the moment? For example, here he had love 15, he had a play in the rally. How do you center yourself on the moment?
I think what's important for Josh is following the process, understanding that sometimes it's not going to quite work like there. He's tried a slightly risky tactic, but as we said earlier, he probably doesn't come out on top too often if he plays this match too defensively. Mark's too good for that.
Just snuck it over. So you think that bird's eye view of this encounter makes that process easier in general to keep putting yourself out there?
Yeah, I think Josh obviously plays this sort of game style, and his coach will be working hard on just him thinking about what he does normally, his processes, and yes, of course, thinking about opponent, but you know, look after number one and stick to your strengths.
Getting the full experience of being a top seed here, Mark Saban, the competition upping their level, but he holds firm there and steadies the ship in this opening set from a breakdown to 4-3 as we edge along the wire. Craze did show us resilience out here on this court yesterday when Liam Channon started to mount a comeback in the second set. He stopped it. Really on Saban to make him feel the fact that he's serving second now as we head towards the business end of the set. Make him work for these opening points of the game.
That's an excellent response after a little bit of a loose forehand, which we hadn't really seen at the start of this match from Josh. But another key game. It almost feels like every single game here is pretty crucial.
Yeah, just adjusted, saw the space and lifted into it with the forehand. Just losing control. And Craze sailing through pretty nicely in a big moment as he looks to keep pace with the top seed here. It's been Saban who's been doing a lot more serving. Maybe the reps will help.
Yeah. He'll have worked on that thousands of times. Serve +1. Massive part of his game.
Now that's a moment, rare to see him miss a rally ball on the backhand side, Saban. Look at the scoreboard, dead even. It's definitely a spotlight on him here. Trickier shot than it looked.
not easy given the scoreline, like you said. Got a little bit of wind here in Roehampton, and at 4-all, 30-all, that just makes it a little bit tougher. And again, knowing that Josh is on the other side and he's got very good hands and he likes coming forward, but he actually does pretty well on the pass, and he's already thrown a few good lobs up.
He's had to do a fair bit of breakpoint saving today, Mark Saban. That might come through for him at the back end of this set. That's well handled. Snappy finish, hitting his spots on the serve, and just the one look at the break point this time for the number 4 seeds means that Josh Craze, who initially led by a break in this set, will have to serve to stay in it shortly. There's an interesting move from Saban. Knows the importance of this stage of the set, and he's up very early at the baseline just to present to his opponent, I'm ready. Does that change the feeling for Craze here?
Yeah, I noticed that a little bit in the last game. Mark controlling the time between points. He hit an ace on the first serve. He's very quick to then get to the outside. Maybe he's trying to put a little bit of pressure on here, knowing how important this game is.
When he has to come forward during the rally, what's the target for Craze, as opposed to on the first couple of balls? Yeah, well,
Normally you're kind of teaching players to come in down the line and reduce the angle on the pass. We also have some opponents that have a big strength on one side. Where Josh has found it tough is when he's almost forced forward, like that point there a minute ago where it was an accidental short ball from Mark, and it put Josh off balance a little bit, and then it's difficult then to split and cover the corners. He's almost on the back foot and struggling to cover the pass.
We've mentioned the moment time and again throughout this set, and this is where you really feel it. There is less breathing room, there is less margin for error, and Kray's certainly aware of that as set points down. Could have been nasty.
Yeah, interesting now, Mark going to his towel. And this will be, you know, coaches and experience over the years, talking to Mark. And yeah, he's got a fantastic group of coaches working with him at Collective Coaching.
A truly close opening set where Saban was under relentless pressure, but he lifted and he transferred it across the net when it really counted, breaking when it mattered most for the 6-4 lead, and it takes him one set away from the 18's national trophy and a wild card into the men's qualifying event at Wimbledon. And Matt, credit to him for keeping his composure, because throughout that set, Saban was constantly the player fending off break points, being tested on serve, and he was generally able to lift his level in those moments.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of a steal there. I think that right at the end there from 4-all experience probably came through. Mark played a few good points, saved break point at 4-all, very aggressive second serve on that point, and played a good aggressive point, and like we said, came out early and put the pressure on, and it kind of showed a little bit. Josh with a couple of mistakes, and he'll be a little bit disappointed, because I kind of probably thought he edged that set, and to not take it is going to be a difficult one, because like we say, it's a big match for him, and yeah, he's got some work to do now, and we'll see how he responds.
You know, we did allude to how experience could come into play. Saban already a Nationals champion in different age categories, and he's been here at the 18s competition going deep for the last couple of seasons. So the pointy end of a set is going to be tough for Krays, but in terms of the earlier stage of a set, what could he do to mount his lead and make it count?
Well, this will be key now. Does he come out and play a little bit more aggressively and try and come forward a little bit more again? He probably did drop a little bit of aggression in that midway through that first set. But then I also expect Mark will probably feel a little bit relieved, a little bit relaxed, and he might loosen up a little bit now, and we might see a few more backhand down the lines and looking to come forward again and take it to him.
Contrasting outcomes, but it's been 3 points beginning of this set where Krays has had that same commitment to the court, and that's even while he's offloading a little bit at his coaching corner. I think it's Max Hertebeis from Millfield who's courtside for him. He's able to isolate that and just zone in on the moment during the point, Krays, which is great to see after the disappointment of that opening set. just been a few moments where he's miscued the forehand, Matt. What's factoring into that?
Yeah, well, his forehand grip's a little bit Western, so if it's a little bit tougher to time sometimes. And we've seen that a little bit when Mark's gone a pretty good backhand down the line. It's going to be a little bit trickier to get around it. Whereas Josh actually a couple of times has then gone shape line, which is a little bit more natural to that forehand grip. But yeah, you can't decelerate. That's going to be an important one. If he starts decelerating with that grip a little bit round, that's where, you know, it's a little bit tougher to hit the middle of the strings. But on the flip side, it can get a lot of shape off of it. So there are some good pros.
You just see the interesting aspect of playing net chords on the serve here in the junior game, back to back from Saban, and he will take that helping hand to wriggle out of another deficit on serve and mount his lead in the process. So Matt, you were at Millfield School for a little while, and I'm not sure how long ago this was, but you can tell us a little bit about that and the tennis scene there, where Josh Craze is currently based.
Yeah. So I had the pleasure of working there. 2013, I started for 5 years. Very much enjoyed it, and yeah, fantastic place to certainly combine a very good tennis program, but also studying as well. Everything on site, and almost like a mini American college campus, beautiful campus in Somerset, and yeah, great to see a player come through that program and make the final here. They've had some very good players come out, and here's another one.
Saban is a little closer to home. He does train here at the LTA's National Tennis Center. So even though this is his first week of Nationals competition this year, really familiar with the courts here at this venue, indoors and outdoors, where the breeze can pick up. Smooth redirection in there. It might only be the second game of the second set, but this is a massive game in the wider context of the match. Saban having stapled 3 games in a row to get to this position, so he is subtly but surely building momentum here.
Another big game for Josh. You feel like he's got to find his way out of trouble here. Otherwise, losing that momentum since that break point really at 4-all. Yeah, taking control of the court from on top of the baseline. That's good pacing from Saban. Yeah,
This break point might weigh heavy on the number 4 seed. Massive moment for Josh Craze, who's held his own really impressively in this match so far. But on the edge here. Oh, that was a tremendous first volley. Under the weight of the scoreboard as well.
That seems to be a little bit a tactic there from Josh. 3 break points now. He's used that certain volley.
Oh, well, it had to be special from that position. Nicely navigated by the top seed. Both of them going up through the gears here. Just sends a message there. And just subdued the aggressive approach from his opponent, Saban. And he keeps on building. That is a 4th successive game for the former 16s champion. Hot on the hunt of his first 18s crown now. Was there anything that Craze could have done differently at the back end of that last game, or was it more Saban lifting his level?
I actually think Mark's just managed the second set a little bit better. He's actually absorbed the pace a little bit more. He's not had to go and be too aggressive. Just a few mistakes from Josh, and Mark's realised that and thought, actually, I'm going to lock in here and be tough to beat. And then Mark will be ready that if he needs to up the gear, then I'm sure he'll be ready to. But right now, he's just sort of collecting points, and unfortunately a few mistakes from Josh, and Mark can not quite relax, but just be conscious to the fact that he doesn't need to go up and be too aggressive and high risk.
The call was well kept. A near essential game here for the player from Somerset to stop this building momentum. And he's measured that perfectly. And it's good to see the engagement. It's been a mountain of disappointment after holding his own so strongly throughout the opening set. if he could take that back, what would he change?
I mean, what an opportunity there. Easy in hindsight to just lift the ball a little bit, and I was surprised he didn't lob actually. Mark was very close to the net, and Josh seems to be very aware of, you know, when someone's approaching or he's approaching. He's got quite good nous.
It's another impressive regroup though from Josh Craze. Could have crumbled there, but he just tells Mark Saban that if he is going to win this final and the prizes that come with it, he's going to have to earn it. Back on serve in the second set. Well done. So Craze still kicking in this 18s championship match. This to be followed by the girls singles final between last week's 16 and under champion Daniela Britton and number 5 seed Tegan Bush. Bush featured in the women's doubles final yesterday. Oh, tremendous conclusion to an epic rally. Exchange of the match.
Again, really important for Josh to stay aggressive. I thought Mark was actually starting to pin him back a little bit, and Josh sat a little bit deeper and was sort of on the run a little bit more. But if he can loosen up that forehand and hit through a few, then again, send a message to Mark that he's still here and he's going to try and take this title away from him.
Oh, even prior to that previous point, you could see the frustration radiating off Craze. A massive difference at that stage. Love 30 compared to 15 all. You observe that he's very much on the back foot of the scoreboard, down a set, even with the break back. Yeah, you've got to trust the chair umpire on that near sideline. And it did look good from our angle in the commentary box. Brings up a big opportunity for Saban to make it 3 straight breaks of serve. Absorbed everything thrown at him there, the top seed. Continuing to probe in this game and in this set.
Both players needing a little break there. This match is getting pretty physical. These balls are getting a little bit older and the rallies are going to get extended. And like I say, Mark not giving too much away now, so Josh has got a bit of running to do.
Oh, late charge. Don't think he was expecting that second serve to be called good. Craze. And it's costly abandonment of the first as Saban strikes again. That is 3 straight breaks of serve on the main stage here at the Junior Nationals.
Mark's done really well when Josh has approached that backhand. I wonder if the coaches had spotted that before the match and done a little bit of work to be prepared for today.
Yeah, Alistair Filmer in the Mark Saban camp more recently. How do you think he'll be feeling, Matt, about Saban's management of this match so far?
Yeah, again, given the stakes of the match, I think Mark's actually handled it really well. He's handled the sort of time between points, managed the big points well. He saved, obviously, a few break points at key times in that first set, and obviously right now he's looking pretty good. And again, also in the back of his mind, fantastic for Mark's development, this sort of match under pressure, knowing what awaits the winner, and gives them opportunities to play some big tournaments and wild cards into some big events. So
he's been building Saban over the last few years since he won the prestigious Le Petit A junior tournament in 2023, the debut edition of the Wimbledon 14s event that year as well. 5 times a champion on the ITF junior circuit, as well as his accomplishments at nationals. feature in the men's qualifying draw at Wimbledon, that would be a huge new experience, and that is what awaits if he can sustain his lead in this second set. Wimbledon qualifying taking place here in Roehampton, so actually a few meters away on the grass out the back of the National Tennis Centre. Are we at the point where he could start to get ahead of himself, Saban, and start thinking about what awaits if he crosses the finish line?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be in there somewhere. Obviously, he's got a nice lead at the moment. It actually feels like Mark's almost making this match as physical as possible and trying to keep Josh back and extend the rallies, and then just like that, take the obvious opportunities to be aggressive and otherwise try and lock in, and Josh doesn't look like he's quite got the energy that he came out with for the first 20 minutes, and I think Mark's kind of realised that and trying to use that now to his advantage.
Strong finish from Mark Saban. A little bit of back and forth of late, but the scoreboard doesn't show it. It does indicate how he's been able to rise when it really matters. That's why he leads by a set and 4-1. Couple of games away from joining the honor roll here at the 18s Lexus Junior National Championships. Pushing for the insurance break here, Saban. A little bit of padding with the set to his name, the break backed up in set number 2. So he's going to be a force to be reckoned with here. Cray's just wearying a bit here, Matt.
Yeah, again, what can he do here except probably throw the kitchen sink now and try and be ultra aggressive and perhaps take a few more risks.
Got to emphasize how impressively he's performed today, Craze. The scoreline might just drop away here, but He's ranked outside the top 700 in juniors. He's not competing on the junior circuit the same way Saban is. Featuring at Junior Wimbledon will be a huge achievement. He's going to have to work really hard to keep this out of the grip of the top seed now.
It'll also give him a lot of confidence. I mean, for a good 40 minutes of that start of that match, he's gone toe-to-toe and, if not, played a little bit better at the start. And given where Mark is, ranked top 50 in the world in the juniors, and Josh outside 700, a huge confidence boost. Although we're talking like it's over, you never know. We've seen some bigger surprises. And again, if Josh can get out of trouble here and suddenly put a bit of pressure on Mark, and like we say, who knows, maybe his thoughts go elsewhere and he starts looking across at the Bank of England and thinks he's going to be on there, but he's still got to earn it.
And that a sign of intent from Saban. Just yesterday, actually, out on this court, Daniela Britton had a point for a set and a double break lead and was taken the distance by Megan Knight. It's never over till it's over. Yeah, just heightening the scrutiny of the moment. Saban, his presence there when it was required. And now it's on his racket to seal the deal with the double break insurance here. It is Mark Saban serving for the biggest win of his Junior Nationals career. And that's a solid start.
So here we are, match point for Mark to become our national champion. And there it is, Mark 6-4, 6-1. A fantastic match between these two. Josh more than played his part, certainly for the first 40 minutes. But Mark takes the spoils, and with it, some wild cards. We will see Mark on the grass next door during the Wimbledon qualifying. He'll also take some wild cards of a $25,000 main draw and qualifying. But we also have some wild cards for Josh. He'll be playing Junior Wimbledon come the summer, which is a huge achievement for him and for his coaches and for Millfield School. So not too much disappointment, but overall a fantastic, well-worked match from Mark Saban. Controlled it, certainly from the second set. A little bit of trouble in the first, but yeah, his experience shone through from break point down at 4-all, came up with a big serve and never looked back really. But yeah, a fantastic effort from Josh. And so Abigail's headed down to the presentation. Please stay tuned for that. And then we have the girls singles following the presentation between Daniela Britton and Tegan Bush. So please stay tuned for another very good final.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both of our boys singles finalists, Mark Siban and Joshua Craze. And to present our trophies to both players, please welcome Bridie Amos, Deputy President of the Lawn Tennis Association, and Jill Meal, Championships referee. So, to our boys singles runner-up for 2026 from Somerset, Joshua Craze. And to our Lexus Junior National Championships 18 under boys singles winner, Mark Seaban. So the girls singles final between Tegan Bush and Daniela Britton will be coming to court shortly. Thank you.
So there we have it, Mark Seaban, our new under-18 junior national champion. Presentation almost complete, just a few photos, and then we should be back up shortly for an exciting girls final. So please stay tuned.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for our girls singles final, please welcome back onto court our ball crew. And to our players, firstly, please welcome Daniela Britton. And playing against Daniela, please welcome Tegan Bush. To the left of the umpire's chair is Daniela Britton. She's our number 2 seed here this week at the 18 Under Championships. Age 15 from Bournemouth, has a current junior ITF world ranking of 103. Won the 16 Under singles title here last Friday. Trains at the LTA National Academy in Loughborough. Her playing county is Dorset and started playing tennis at the age of 4. Career highlights to date include winning the J200 in Lithuania in February 2026 and reaching the second round of the Wimbledon Junior event in 2025. Outside of tennis, Danielle lists her interests as golf and also plays the guitar. Please welcome Daniela Britton. To the right of the umpire's chair is Tegan Bush, who's our number 5 seed here this week. Tegan is age 17, has a WTA world ranking of 1019. Started playing tennis at the age of 5 through her dad taking her to a local village club. She's based at the Edgbaston Priory Club, where she's been since the age of 12 and works with her coach there, Michael Peel. She won the national doubles 16 under title with Teodora Prezednikova in 2024 and was a runner-up in the doubles final here yesterday. Her career highlights to date include beating former world number 20 Anna Conja in a women's 25 event in Edgbaston this year. Outside of tennis, Tegan enjoys holidaying abroad, spending time with friends, and also enjoys thrill-seeking of roller coasting. Please welcome Tegan Bush.
And we go again here on finals day at the 18 and unders Lexus Junior National Championships. Mark Saban is the boys singles champion, but who will join him in the winner's circle? It'll be either number 2 seed Daniela Britton or 17-year-old Tegan Bush. Britain on a 7-match winning streak here at Nationals after winning the 16th title last week. So she is going to be stiff competition for a player that she did get the better of elsewhere a handful of weeks ago. Abigail Johnson and Matthew James back with you for this second of the finals. We just saw Matt Saban come through against Josh Craze. There was a really high level in that opening set, and then he showed his experience.
Yeah, exactly that. It was an excellent first set, which could have gone either way, and yeah, thankfully for Mark, he then showed his experience and played a very smart second set and made it very physical and got the win pretty comfortably in the end. So he'll be thrilled along with his coaches and his family.
Daniela Britton will be hoping it doesn't get too physical today, because she had one of the longest matches of the week less than 24 hours ago against number 4 seed Megan Knight, who had actually got the better of Britton in the 16 and unders title match last year from a set down. So she might have been a little nervous, the 15-year-old, when she was on the brink of a double break lead in the second set, and that went down the wire, but a 6-1, 6-7, 6-4 victory to make her way into the 18th final for the first time. And couldn't be more contrasting, because Tegan Bush did not drop a game against Edie Griffiths. So different opponents, different results, but also a different day at the office to see who lifts the trophy and also picks up the wild card into the women's qualifying event at Wimbledon that comes with a victory today. Britain recently cracked the world's top 100 in the ITF Junior rankings. Bush has been having a go at the main women's pro tour of late. You'll have heard Richard Joyner mention on the microphone that she got a brilliant win over former top 20 player Anna Konyu earlier this year. So she's going to hope that she can draw on that experience to overcome one of the toughest challenges at this tournament at this moment in time. The winner today will take the mantle from Mika Stojsavljevic, who won the 18th Nationals crown 12 months ago, and today she won on debut at the Billie Jean King Cup down in Australia, representing Great Britain for the first time and tackling a top 100 opponent in Talia Gibson. So you never know the springboard that this event could prove to be. Britain serving by her choice here. What would be the key things to look out for stylistically here, Matt?
So yeah, I mean, as we said with the boys plenty of times, there's a lot on the line. How they deal with the pressure is going to be a very interesting one. Starting with a double fault, not how you would plan your final, but you know, this is a second home to her with how many matches she's played here the last couple of weeks, so she'll be actually more comfortable than most going into this final.
Bush can hit a really flat ball and move the ball around incredibly well. So she's proven herself a challenge to junior ranked and pro ranked players alike with the assets that she brings to court. And much like Josh Craze in the previous match, Britain has marked out her volley as one of her favourite shots. It did stand out about her 12 months ago. She's still very much developing it when she was 14 a year ago, but likes to play from all areas of the court, can take herself up it really well. Nice solid start from the player from Dorset. Daniela Britton going for back-to-back national singles titles. And that set that she relinquished to Megan Knight yesterday, the first set that she has dropped across the two tournaments. It was a clean run to the trophy when she got the better of Annabelle Wong a week ago. It's an impressive honor roll at this event, Matt. I know that you've coached Mimi Zhu in the past. She's a two-time winner. Stojsavljevic last year. How encouraging is that for the players to be at this position in a tournament where there are so many big British tennis names that have played and succeeded in the past?
Yeah, of course. What an honour to get your name on the board. The history of this event, and alongside that, there are actually a few nice wildcards if you do get the title this time round, which wasn't always the case. So, yeah, lots to play for. I also think very important at this age that the coaches will be thinking a lot about the process and the development of these young girls, and making sure that they're on the right path and doing the best they can to look at transitioning into the women's tour.
Yeah, strong two-handed backhand that Bush brings to the table, and she's got strong foundation. She's been based at the Edgbaston Priory Club for the past 5 years, working with Mike Peel of late. Yeah, just making the most of that early step up in this game, Britain. Serving first, there's an early deficit for Tegan Bush to shoulder. Our number 5 seed got the better of top seed Holly Smart in the quarterfinals on her way to this match. outside edge. If for someone who hits so flat, she could make a lot of balls. Bush adjusted well to windy conditions yesterday.
These first 10 minutes so important in any match, but especially matches like this where there's so much on the line. But you know, just getting a foothold and get the score going, but also how you start matches and not letting players and opponents get rhythm early on.
She'll know to be wary, Bush. She has only dropped the, and my maths has challenged here, but the 8 games across her 3 matches this week. She made the quarterfinals of this tournament a year ago and had only lost 6 matches prior to the last 8, but did lose that match against Ruby Cooling. So matchups and opposition and sometimes the stakes and the occasion do come into play. And Britain just able to make herself pesky enough of a presence to capitalize on a bit of fluctuation from the number 5 seed. So early strike for the 16's reigning champion. Who's now based at the Loughborough National Academy, much like Mika Stojsavljevic and others before her. That's been a great base for some of the more recent promising young players. One of the other players, Matt, described Tegan Bush as very deceptive. She's quite laid back and low-key with the way she walks around the court between points, but you can't really take a lot from that when she's actually playing the points, the way she hits the ball.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You tend to find players, their kind of game style on the court and certainly in matches does tend to mimic their personality a little bit, whereas yeah, Tegan doesn't give much away in terms of body language, but a real big striker of the ball and a very aggressive tennis player. And that's the same in these junior matches, and I've also watched her a little bit on the women's tour and a few of the grass events last year, and again, not phased, which I think actually disrupts opponents.
Quality point from Daniela Britton. Bush is going to look to hang tough, but a very encouraging start for the reigning 16's champion. Looking for an 8th straight match win at Nationals and the 18 and unders trophy that would come with it today. So Britain opted to serve, and the ideal start after fending off an early chance.
Tegan's certainly got her work cut out. They played each other about 4 or 5 weeks ago up in Scotland in a tournament, and Daniela ran away with that one. And now on a 7-match win streak here, she's going to be feeling extremely confident.
She wouldn't have chosen to go the distance yesterday, Britain, particularly from the brink of the double break advantage in the second set. But you think that actually maybe serves her here, the fact she has been tested like that?
100%. I think all of that experience tells, you know, within tournaments. And then also thinking bigger picture, when we look at this match, you know, there's a lot of pressure on the line and things, wildcards up for grabs, and you know, when we think about their development, putting themselves in these tough scenarios, and can only be a good thing, win or lose, for their future.
Oh, it's lights out, this start to the final from Britain. Oozing with confidence in that return game, setting a standard here on the main show court. I hadn't seen much of a Matt prior to the 16s event last year when she made the final, but it does stand out, particularly at this age. She's still only 15, that there's a lot going on in her game, and sometimes that does take a little bit more time to flesh out.
But yeah, what's quite nice to see with Daniela, even in the first 4 games, we've seen her hit a few kick serves, she's gone after a few serves, she's used the slice, she's come forward. It really looks like there's a bit of variety there behind the kind of foundations of a very aggressive game style, but also a little bit of, you know, trying to become a little bit of an all-courter and having those options.
Good clutch serve. Maybe going to be looking at her shot selection then during this match, and her timing of when she approaches the net, of when she plays what shot.
Yeah, completely agree. It's one thing having the skill set, and then it's just as important when to use it. But so far she hasn't put many feet wrong yet.
They got a lot of reps on this very court a matter of hours ago, really, yesterday afternoon. Good to see that commitment to going after the second serve from Bush. And she's had a few looks at seconds in the early stages where she's not quite been able to assert herself. And that door is slammed shut by Britain, who has timed it to perfection so far in this set. Sparkling performance from the number 2 seeds as she takes aim at a first 18th title at the Lexus Junior National Championships, just her second appearance in this event.
I do wonder if these are the type of matches where it kind of works against Tegan a little bit with having such a level body language, because she's going to need some sort of catalyst here, and a lot of players tend to use, you know, a little bit of energy and kind of outward responses, whereas Tegan's going to have to do it with the tennis.
Yeah, very measured, which could help her in some scenarios. But I mean, previous match, Josh Craze against Mark Saban, a lot of fist pumps, a lot of come-ons, just kind of showing the intensity.
Yeah, so many matches come down to what's between the ears, and you know, any advantage you can get, whether that's putting a little bit of pressure on an opponent by showing them you're here for a fight and you're here for 3 long hours if needs be, can be important.
It's a little bit of indecision there from Bush. It's a tricky one, which he knows what Britain's capable of around the court. Get the feeling that she had quite a solid foundation in her last match to execute her game the way she wanted to play it, with what she wanted to do. A little more wary of Britain, understandably so.
Again, it's so important, those first 2 or 3 games. If you don't get on the scoreboard, I think every single player will be thinking, I don't want to get a love 6 here. So every game it carries on, there's that pressure actually adds for the person in the deficit. Whereas that type of ball, if the score was a little bit closer, I don't think she would miss that and decelerate. Whereas I think there's a bit of, like you said, indecisiveness, and almost the nerves are still there because the score is against her so much at the moment.
And just not allowing a lot for free. The number 2 seed brings up a set point on the return.
That was a much better point, opening the court up. Tegan, every player needs a bit of a plan B when that plan A isn't quite working, and this might be a case of actually, let's go a little bit higher margin, a little bit sort of more space, and maybe use the court a little bit more. just to ask a few more questions and then work back up to the aggressive player she is.
It shows great engagement from Bush, particularly at this deficit, to be able to analyze that weight. Yeah, really well fought by the number 5 seed. Would have been very easy for that to fall away, set point down. But dug in. Actually, her pro ranking is higher than her junior ranking at the moment. She's spoken about mixing in women's events with her junior competition. Qualified for a top-level ITF event on W100 in Wrexham at the end of last year, which ended up being a final between 2 former nationals champions, Mimi Zhu and Mika Stojsavljevic. Says that playing the women's matches has helped her consistency within contests, just having to bring the level point after point against these experienced players.
I think it also suits her game a little bit, playing a few of the women's events. Generally you get bigger ball strikers and aggressive baseliners, which she can then use their pace, which would be quite nice. Whereas Daniela having a little bit of variety, outdoors, a little bit slower, certainly using the kick serve to kind of get a little bit of shape and not let Tegan get that first strike has made a big difference here.
A glittering set of tennis from Daniela Britton, looking to add the 18th trophy to her 16th title from last week, and a strong start was well built on for the 6-1 opener. It definitely seemed less nervy, Matt, at the beginning of that set, and just made those opening games count in the end.
Yeah, and I think her level then shone through towards the end. I mean, there's that big serving in that game there. She looked so relaxed on the serve, and again, as we say, how important is it coming in with 7 wins in a row under your belt and feeling pretty good and knowing you beat someone pretty recently, and also the fact that the court and the conditions probably suit. But as we know, it's not always played like that, and there's still a long way to go. As Richard mentioned before the match, Tegan, she enjoys roller coasters, so she'll be hoping that this one turns into a little bit of one today.
Yeah, all to play for. You can see, but maybe particular on the junior stage, that there can be quite drastic momentum swings in each direction if you just grab a hold of the right points at the right moment in a set. Both players have been the cause of that and on the receiving end of that in the early stages of their tennis playing endeavors.
Yeah, no, you certainly see bigger swings and momentum in junior matches. But Daniela, she's not giving that away at the moment. Even sat down, she was pretty laid back there on the change of ends. She's not looking like someone who's going to get tight in the next 20 minutes. But maybe when it gets a little bit close to that finish line, then we'll really see what she's made of.
does love taking on her two-handed backhand, Bush, and Britain's done a good job of looking to take that away from her. Building traffic into the forehand so that she can scrutinize that backhand wing. Strong start to set 2 for Tegan Bush. Good pickup from the 17-year-old. Also made her 18s debut at this tournament last year. A good run to the quarterfinal stage. And actually targeting her first Nationals singles title. She's made the final of both the 14s event and the 16s event, which was just a couple of years ago. It would have been a very nice win over our top seed Holly Smart in the quarterfinals, because actually due to injury she wasn't able to play that championship match in the 16s event in 2024. So engaging with the opportunity here. When you're working with a junior player or a younger player, Matt, what are you looking at? What qualities are you looking at that are going to make the difference at the pro level?
Well, I think that is exactly that. You know, you're trying to go from A to B and work out, you know, what their skills are, what skills need to be worked on, and what their best chances are to really do well. You know, understanding the person, understanding the game style, and a lot of hard work. You know, that's probably one of the biggest things. And you know, they've also got to want it and bring a lot of intrinsic motivation to it. And then, you know, what's between the ears being very important, as we saw in the boys match. You know, when Mark was under a lot of pressure, break point down at 4-all, he came with a big second serve, and you know, those can be really defining moments in matches, and it turned out to be exactly that. And this could be one right now. You know, the scoreline's completely different, such as is our, you know, amazing scoring system in tennis, that Tegan's now ahead, and actually the pressure's obviously just in this set, but actually puts a bit of pressure on Daniela here and gives it a different complexion.
Yeah, she's been suffocating the court in this return game, Bush. It's getting her a lot more aggressive backhands and a lot more ground on the scoreboard. Couple of break points to lead in this set. A great character on display from Tegan Bush. Early strike in this second set.
Yeah, it almost just looks like that weight's off the shoulders a little bit since she won that first game, because the last 10 minutes Daniela's not really dropped her level at all. Tegan's taken it to her and now landing some of these punches. This is where she's dangerous. If she can be relaxed and aggressive and start to hit through Daniela, it'll completely change the feel for this.
Yeah, as much as Britain's arguably had maybe more eye-catching results at Nationals, it would be less of a step up for Bush to be competing in the Wimbledon qualifying draw. She's had that commitment to playing on the ITF circuit of late at 15s, 35s and above. Britain's fully committed to the junior tour. And impressively so, most recently won a title on the ITF circuit in February.
so important, you know, even with scheduling and understanding what's best for the player in front of me. Is it to go a little bit more juniors, develop a little bit Daniela? You can see she's developing a variety, and she'll get more opportunities at the junior level to do that, whereas Tegan's got a bigger game that can probably sustain with bigger hitters, and everybody's on a different journey.
Yeah, the beauty of tennis, it is not one size fits all, and one set does not tell the whole story. We are seeing that in motion in this girls' singles final. 3 games played in the second set, and all go the way of the number 5 seed. Yeah, Tegan Bush setting the tone at the beginning of this second set, stood right up to the court to break serve at the first opportunity.
Fine margins, just 1 or 2% difference, and these balls now suddenly going the wrong side of the line for Daniela. A really nice natural shape of shot on the forehand of Britain, getting good length with it. Great stabilizer from the junior world number 103. Now we see the scoreline of the opening set. Very easy for those numbers to get on top of a player, particularly in a high stakes match. Opportunity to join the 18 and under Junior National Championships on a roll and take the Wimbledon qualifying wildcard that comes with that achievement. Good presence. Particularly when you're serving seconds, Matt, it's very easy to lose sight of that in the moment. The fact it is only one break of serve. yeah, as we mentioned before, how important is the scoreline in this sport, and you know, being 3-1 ahead sounds pretty nice, and it does tend to help that you can relax a little bit more, knowing that, you know, even if you do get broken, that you're still ahead, and these girls will understand there's so many breaks of serve in their matches generally. Whereas actually it's more around momentum and trying to build momentum, and you know, how many games can you get in a row, and if you've got a little bit of momentum, can you keep it, and that's what Daniela did so well in the start.
You could just see in the positioning that she'd read that second serve. Britain able to get up to it. Good signs for where she sits mentally, even on the back foot in this second set. Might erase that gap in the scoreline. Yeah, good management of self and scoreboard from Daniela Britton to get right back on serve in this second set. The fight for the grand finale continuing. 18's trophy on the line in this girls singles match after top seed Mark Saban emerged victorious in the boys singles event.
You touched on it in the last game, but Daniela's IQ being quite a good part of her game, so we've seen a little bit of variety, and you know, at times absorbing Tegan's pace pretty well, and understanding at times it's good actually to make a move and put balls in and let a couple of mistakes occur, and then actually when I need to attack, she's then ready. And then on the flip side here, when she's suddenly got a little bit of momentum, as we saw towards that back end of that first set, Daniela really hitting the accelerator, really going after a few first serves and looking to strike and be more aggressive.
Oh yeah, crunched it. And she's climbing back into this set at pace. 3 straight games for last week's 16s champion. So what's the focus for Bush from here, just on a tactical front? You highlighted maybe spreading the court a little bit more in the opening set.
Yeah, I think at that stage when she was struggling to kind of get on the scoreboard, it was time to knuckle down and put a few more balls in. Whereas I think she's actually got through that phase, and she's actually played some really good tennis at the start of this first, so the level's there. I think it's really important for Tegan to, to play the ball, not the occasion or the opponent here, and keep looking to get first strike, looking to be aggressive, looking to force a lot of errors, and be the one dictating, even if that means that there are a couple more mistakes, and certainly having just no regrets out here.
Yeah, really taking advantage of any situation right now, Britain, that places her on top of the court. Let's tighten the screws to turn this set around. Oh, great navigation from Tegan Bush. And a serious weight on the scoreboard as well. Played each ball as it came. One of those points, Matt, that you just circle and wonder if we might look back at it. Double break point for Britain, and she's won 3 games in a row, so there's a real flow in her direction at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. Tegan needs to be using that pass as a bit of a catalyst, really, to get this back in her favour. And it's the type of stage of match you would see maybe more on the boys and the men's side, where they'll be quite vocal. They'd understand that this is a huge 5 minutes for this match. We're going to the end of the second set, and putting a little bit of pressure on with their presence and their body language, and telling them that I'm here to fight and steal this. Good wrestle, back-to-back second serves. Bush had to play behind in a high-stakes scenario. Net cord getting a workout. Yeah, I didn't think the net cord was going to somehow work against her there.
Yeah, just flirted with disaster a little bit. The first serve not finding the box. Breeze picking up and down here at the LTA's National Tennis Centre, and Britain back out in front on the board from a breakdown in this second set to the set and a break advantage in this girls singles final at the 18s Junior Nationals. Just a little bit of advice for Britain from the corner to take her time here. Both players have been pretty quick serve to serve throughout the match, where, you know, as the server, you can use that time. Just take an extra breath, ground yourself. Critical moment for the number 2 seed to get that right as she gets ever closer.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate how important the mindset and what's between our ears. And you know, both of these girls are fantastic tennis players, and a lot of the time it actually doesn't come down to the tennis. It will come down to, you know, who's a little bit braver and who can keep striking it and has worked under pressure. And again, you know, Tegan had some opportunities in the last game to turn that into a bit of a catalyst from break points down and saving a few of them and getting ahead, whereas now there's only potentially one-way traffic if it goes like the first set.
It's good stability on display from the number 2 seed, and with that hold, Daniela Britton is one game away from the back-to-back at the Lexus Junior National Championships, hoping to add 18's triumph to 16's glory. And that self-management that we've alluded to is really going to come into play here for both players. Bush on the brink, serving to stay in it.
Yeah, unlike the boys' match just earlier, it's close enough to keep it interesting here that pressure could be a part of it, whereas, you know, a set 5-1 is a completely different complexion. A bit like we said, that, you know, Tegan, she needs a little bit of a catalyst, and, you know, if she holds here and maybe wins the first point of the next game, then, you know, the pressure might heap straight on to Daniela.
Yeah, good work keeping a hold of the reins. Britain showing the range of her skill set again to just ask questions.
So here we are, championship point for Daniela to do the double here in Roehampton. Can she do it? Second time of asking to go with her under 16 title last week and make it 8 wins in a row. And she does it. Fantastic way to finish this final. So Daniela Britton backs up her under 16 title last week by winning the under 18 Junior National Championships this week in not the easiest final. She did have to come back from 3-love down in the second set, but overall just deserved, was the better player throughout, and will go into Wimbledon women's qualifying come June next door at the Bank of England. But not all bad for Tegan. She will actually walk away with wildcards into Junior Wimbledon, a 35k event, also the WTA 125 in Ilkley, and a wildcard into the Junior 300 in Roehampton. So a fantastic match, fantastic outcome for Daniela and Loughborough, the academy, who keep producing some very good tennis players. So there we have it. We'll have a presentation to follow. But thank you very much for joining.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both of our finalists, Tegan Bush and Daniela Britton. And with this being the final match of our 2 weeks here at the National Tennis Centre, there are a few thank yous that I would like to make before we present to the players. Firstly, I'd like to thank our ball crew who have come from the Wimbledon Championships to be with us here today, and also our team of LTA on-court officials who have been with us for the last 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Within our tournament team, I'd like to thank Jill Milne, our championships referee. I'd like to thank Nigel Smethurst, our tournament physio. I'd like to thank Sean, who's not here with us today, but for the last 2 weeks has been here doing the practice desk and sending the matches on. Did a fantastic job in his first year with us here. I would like to thank Amelie, and I would like to thank Maisie, who have been doing the match analysis stats for all of you. So those of you who tapped into that, hopefully that's been a benefit. That was a new feature for this year. I'd like to thank James Weymouth and Sam, who are 2 interns with the Lawn Tennis Association. James has not only been here with us for 2 weeks, he also did all of the nationality checks, which was quite a painful task to actually do all of that. And James diligently did that for us, so thank you very much for that, James. It would be amiss not to thank the NTC operations team and Simon and his team in the food and beverage team. We appreciate that they have an ongoing job to do here every day, but also to look after all of the players and all of us in addition to what their normal tasks are. Charles Jude has almost come out on cue to take the accolade on behalf of the NTC operations team, but thank you very much indeed. And finally, I would just like to thank the spectators that have come down today to watch the tennis. I know it means a lot to players to play a final in front of an audience. Hope you've enjoyed the tennis. The sun has come out for you. If you were here last Friday, you may have been a little bit wetter and a little bit more delayed. But thank you very much, because it does add to the atmosphere for our finals day. And if I have missed anyone out, my apologies, and you can have words with me. Actually, yeah, I have missed a few people out. I have missed out Abigail Johnson, who's been doing our media work for yesterday and today. Matt James, who's been on co-commentary today. Alex Hyman, who did commentary with Beth Gray for our 16 under finals. Makes a big difference to actually have that as a feature for our finals, so thank you very much.
There's one person without whom none of this would be possible, who's put so much work into this passport night and delivered an absolutely flawless couple of weeks, and that is Richard Joyner. So, ladies and gentlemen.
So, to our runner-up for 2026, Northamptonshire, Tegan Bush. And to our girls singles 18 and under, running off the back of her 16 and under title last Friday, back-to-back titles, Daniela Britton. our 2026 championships. Thank you very much for coming, and hope you all have a safe journey home. Thank you.
So there we have it. The curtains come down on a fantastic 2 weeks of national championships. Congrats to our finalists and our both winners this week, Mark Seaban and Daniela Britton. It's been a fantastic 2 weeks of log group tennis. Thanks for joining us and have a good day.